football, not just here in Jacksonville, but around the league, all of the different implications that are going on this weekend of the seeding of who gets in the playoffs, who may get knocked out of the playoffs, a lot going on. But the one we're most focused on, obviously, is the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Colts. And I said it to Joe when we were talking on Crosstalk, the Colts would love to spoil the Jags day. So you don't want to take that lightly. You just mentioned a little bit ago several names. We're not practicing today. Who are all of the names that you saw?
Yeah, the names that we're not practicing, Greg Newsome and Jordan Lewis in the secondary, McCary and Hainsey on the offensive line. That's concerning. And then Strigow at defensive end. Look, McCary left last week. Walker Little came in, did a really good job. Hainsey left last week, and Monheim came in. Is it the end of the world? No, but with DeForest Buckner back for Indianapolis and Grover Stewart, those are two really good interior defensive linemen. You'd like to have Hainsey in there. That'd be tough for the rookie to have to go in there in that situation.
Yeah. DeForest Buckner, they did not have to face him last time, and that was part of the conversation. Obviously, Sauce Gardner had gotten injured too, so you got a little lucky in that, and now DeForest Buckner, there's no denying what he can do up front. That's one of the biggest parts of their defense in general. It is interesting, and we'll be talking later to Rick Venturi, who is the color analyst for Colts on the radio station, and I'm interested to hear some of the thoughts of that, because you can't really ever predict injury. And so we're having the same conversation here when it comes to Travis Hunter. You know, you gave up a lot of picks for that. You didn't get him a full season. They gave up a lot of picks for Sauce Gardner and barely got to see him play at all. And it was a team that needed pass rush all season long. So a lot of fans, a lot of media I see are kind of upset that they went that route anyways. And then now you didn't even get to see Sauce.
It's a nightmare for the Colts.
Yeah.
I mean, they were 8-2. They were 8-2, and they had a 98% chance of making the NFL playoffs week 11 of this season. They've lost 5 games in a row. They trade 2 future firsts, not only the 26th first, but they don't have a first in 27 either for Sauce Gardner. You obviously lose Daniel Jones, and you've told Riley Leonard you have no confidence in him whatsoever because you went and got 44-year-old Phillip Rivers off a high school sideline. Yeah. If I'm Riley Leonard, I mean, I ask for a trade because it's obvious what the Colts think of you. They didn't think that you were any good. And look, to Phillip Rivers' credit, he's played well, but I think in talking to people in Indy this week, it was a really good story. It's now turning into, all right, enough of this. Yeah. Let's see what the young kid can do in the last couple of games. We're probably not making the playoffs anyway. Phillip Rivers has played well, but his 44-year-old body just cannot throw the ball past 25, 30 yards down the field, which is a problem.
Yeah, and some reports lied to us early on because the conversation when he first came back was that all of the reports coming out when he was throwing, and before he even got added to the practice squad, was that his arm looks just the same. He's making all of the throws. He may not be able to move the way he did, but that's fine because of what his arm looks like. Now, the thing that Phillip Rivers is really good at is that the line of scrimmage stuff, the pre-snap dissecting defenses, things like that. So he has an up on a Riley Leonard in that sense, but I don't know if he does with even the arm, and definitely not the legs.
No, not the legs, and they have offensive line issues. The Jaguars, we just talked about McCary and Hainsey not practicing. The Colts had to shuffle like 3 or 4 guys around on Monday night. They're starting center left with a concussion. I doubt he's going to play on Sunday. So now you have offensive line issues, and at least Riley Leonard, and we saw it here, Taylor, against the Jaguars a couple of weeks ago, Riley Leonard could at least move around a little bit. Phillip Rivers can't move around. So it's look, they're going to make some plays. They got good receiving core. But ultimately, when an offensive line is banged up and Rivers is immobile as he is, I expect Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, I expect them to have a big day on Sunday.
So it sounds like you are more worried about the Hainsey injury than maybe you are the other side when it comes to Murray and Jordan Lewis?
I think that, Newsome and Jordan Lewis. Sorry. Yeah. No, I think, look, Indianapolis has got some good players at the wide receiver position, but the Jaguars have proven now pretty much every week, man, they just put guys in on defense and don't miss a beat. Yeah. I mean, the time that Devin Lloyd missed, Jordan Lewis has already missed time, Eric Murray's missed time, and the Jaguars just keep rotating bodies in there. And if that means more Christian Braswell, already got Jarian Jones, you obviously got Monteric Brown. I would love for Jordan Lewis and Newsome to be out there, obviously, but I have confidence in Campanile and the scheme because, again, they've been without so many guys already this year and seemingly have not missed much of a beat.
Yeah, Liam Cohen spoke to media today and talked on many things when it comes to the Pro Bowlers, which we talked about a little bit yesterday, or the lack of Pro Bowlers.
He's
here.
already using that as motivation. You knew that was coming, by the way.
Coming.
Yeah.
And you said it right away. You're like, all right, let's give more fuel for Liam Cohen.
It's just gasoline to the fire that Liam Cohen has started in that locker room.
And the more I think about it, and I tweeted this earlier, Hack, of the kind of frustration. And I'm never one of the people that say, because the Pro Bowl has almost become a joke at this point. I mean, it's a dodgeball game,
Yeah.
right? So it doesn't hold the same meaning, I feel like it used to back in the day. But what it does do is if you're going to use these for future Hall of Fame ballots, like, oh, they're a 5-time Pro Bowler, then you have to take it seriously, I feel like. And I just don't feel like the league does anymore because when you talk about the fan votes, when you talk about some of these players, I mentioned the Joe Alt one yesterday, a player that played 6 games should not be in the Pro Bowl over guys that have had comparable seasons and made it through the entire season. To me, an injury you can't always affect, and I do think that there's guys in this league that still probably deserve a Pro Bowl who have played 9, 10, 11 games and missed a couple here and there, but there's just too many things that you can point to. And so when you go to that and you're saying down the road, when you're talking about if they're going to make the Hall of Fame or whatever the case may be, that is going to be used for it. Does other players around the league look and be like, well, Jacksonville doesn't get Pro Bowlers, and they have Foye and they have Devin Lloyd doing all of this stuff, and these guys aren't getting voted into the Pro Bowl because they're in Jacksonville?
The Pro Bowl games mean absolutely nothing. I agree with you. But being a Pro Bowler means something to the players. There's no doubt about that. And at the end of the day, the Jacksonville Jaguars are an 11-4 football team, one of the best teams in the NFL. You could argue playing the best in the AFC right now of anybody. And their only Pro Bowler is the long snapper. Mm-hmm. That's a joke. Yep. And that goes into fan voting. That goes into player voting around the league. All the voting that constitutes what it means to be a Pro Bowler, again, goes into the lack of respect, the lack of identity that the Jaguars do have. And Liam Cohen brought it up, and he was asked, I forgot who asked him this morning at the Miller Electric Center, are you going to kind of use that? And he gave a very short answer. Mm-hmm. You just read his body language.
We can listen to it. You want to hear it?
Yeah, we'll probably bring that up.
Yeah. RJ, play that clip.
Look, we can't control those decisions, and we have a lot of players that are very prideful and have done some really cool things, right? And to be 11-4 and have one, that's just speaks volumes.
I agree with him. And look, you could tell when you watched the press conference, he had kind of a smirk on his face. Mm-hmm. That has been addressed in the team meeting, I have no doubt. And that will continue being pounded into these guys getting ready for Indianapolis on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. We've seen it even before the season started, some of the things that Liam Cohen uses to motivate his players. And I think that's one of my favorite things about Liam Cohen. And that's what my tweet earlier kind of said. If you're going to tell me that a team that's 11-4 and still has a chance at the number 1 seed in the AFC's only Pro Bowler is their long snapper, then Liam Cohen's done a better job than even we think.
Yeah, then the Coach of the Year voting is over right now. That's exactly right.
I did want to play one more clip. Liam Cohen was talking earlier. We mentioned a second ago DeForest Buckner being back, and he did talk on that. So, RJ, can you throw to that clip, please?
Yeah, I watched him, ton when I was out in LA against him and Eric in there. And, man, those were brutal times for us and trying to game plan for those guys. So, a lot of respect for him as a player. It's just that length that you really have to understand as a guard, as a center, wherever you're at inside against him. We get a great dose of it in some ways with Eric and understanding that, but every player's their own. They're different in their own ways, but got to be prepared for his length, especially with, tip balls and quick game, drop back, getting his hands down. And then, man, he had some good get-offs the other night in the run game and getting the line of scrimmage going back that way. So definitely in our thoughts and preparation.
What do you think the line looks like? This is hypothetical. It's early on. Maybe they're being precautionary when it comes to Hainsey and McCary. But Monheim would be playing, and then Walker Little back at guard, which he played well, so you're a little more confident with that. But I'm not sure about the Monheim situation.
Yeah, that's the way the fourth quarter finished in Denver, right? Mm-hmm. Crunch time in Denver, you had Obviously, Cole Van Lannon, Ezra Cleveland, Jonah Monheim, Walker Little, Anton Harrison. The interesting thing there would be who gets called up off the practice squad, because in that scenario, Chuma Edoga, who did not dress last week, you would imagine would be one of the backups.
Yep.
Wyatt Milam, obviously, and then you would need to call somebody up off the practice squad. Hopefully, Hainsey or I would think Hainsey's more likely to play. And again, not that I'm a medically trained professional, but you watched McCary walking off the field last week compared to Hainsey walking off the field. Hainsey looked a little bit better than McCary did. We'll know more when the injury report comes out. But I do think the offensive line is something I'm a little concerned about. And like we said, Taylor, yesterday, I mean, look, here's the bottom line. Indianapolis, as it stands right now, is still alive for a playoff spot. Now, that will end if Houston wins on Saturday night, and they will officially be eliminated. And I do wonder, with such a veteran team, including a 44-year-old quarterback that came back to try to get the Colts into the playoffs, if the air will be let out of the balloon for Indianapolis if they are officially eliminated on Saturday night. If the Chargers win, well, then the Colts have some new life. So I think you'll get a great effort. But I do wonder if Houston does win and they're eliminated, how the Colts will react to that on Sunday.
Yeah, I think everybody in Jackson will be watching that Saturday game very closely.
Huge
to see
game.
Very, very big. There's a lot this weekend, and we'll get to some of those later in the show. We're going to talk to Tom McManus coming up. He is on vacation, but he wants to chat a little Jaguars. We also have some picks to make. So that is coming up next right here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Get straight talk from D-Rock.
So let me get this straight.
Mike Duraco.
And we get his insight every Thursday from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Opened by Lee and Kate's Glass. Guaranteed greatness since 1926 on 1010XL.
Don't ignore plumbing leaks. They can lead to mold and mildew or structural damage and drain your wallet. So when you have a leak and can't wait a week, call Roland Reich Plumbing. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Fought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL.
Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, your locally owned commercial truck headquarters and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, it's Rick Ballou. We got a fresh shipment of hard-to-find ProMaster vans, perfect for Section 179. My buddy Tommy and his team are committed to the community and make the process simple. Upfits, delivery, everything handled right. If you need ProMaster vans or commercial trucks for your fleet, you need Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside.
The holidays are happening. Whether you're ready or not, 1010XL's Holiday Gift Guide is here to help. Loaded with great gift ideas from Beaches Dermatology, Wicca Candle Bar, and Beards Diamonds. Start shopping and saving at 1010XL.com.
Looking to elevate your game night experience? Look no further than Best Bet. We're not just a card room, we're your destination for excitement, fun, and big wins. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, we have something for everyone. Join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine for thrilling tournaments, exciting promotions, and a vibrant atmosphere that will take your game night to the next level. Elevate your game night at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. With over 1,800 five-star Google reviews, it was a no-brainer to have Closets by Design get us organized for the holidays. From closets to garages to laundry rooms and so much more, Closets by Design will design a custom storage solution for all of your spaces. Nothing says happy holidays like a home that is peaceful and clutter-free. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation before year-end and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off with free installation. Call 878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron, totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece. Premium flooring, take our advice. Home of business, affordable price. Driveways, pool decks, garage doors, beautiful patios, and more to explore.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Merry Christmas from 1010XL.
This is Robin Sidbury from Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. Family owned and operated since 1986. We'd like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a happy, safe, and prosperous New Year from our family to yours.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels. We are joined now by Tom McManus. Tommy's on vacation, but never stops working. Tom, thanks for hopping on and talking a little bit of Jags with us.
Hey, thanks for fitting me in, guys. Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope everybody's doing great out there.
Merry Christmas. How's it going up there?
It's beautiful, man. We're on top of a mountain. Hey, God's creation is awesome. The town of Blue Ridge is a lot of fun, lots to do, and we're getting ready for Christmas Mass, and then going to have a nice dinner, just the five of us. So been a great trip so far, and even better when our Jags are 11-4 and atop the AFC South division, for sure.
I was about to say that the victory Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays ring throughout the week when you're 11-4. And so the game this weekend, Tommy, we've been chatting, Hacker and I, today and yesterday, just about how the Colts still would like to play spoiler in this game, of course, because this is a game that, I mean, it kind of matters if the Texans win or lose on Saturday, but either way, any team kind of loves to play that division spoiler. So when it comes to that and just between the Jags and Colts, the Colts can't really win here in Jacksonville, but the Jacksonville have had some struggles out there in Indy. But how are you feeling about this game this weekend, and what to you feels like the reason they'll win?
Yeah, I think the next two games are spoiler-type teams. They would love. I mean, they're in the division. Of course, we'll find out about the Colts, but they're on the brink of elimination, of getting in the tournament. So, they would love to beat us. Look, I think we just got to play our game. I'll echo Liam Cohen. Forget who we're playing. Just play our game, because one thing they've showed us and that we've learned, and I think over the course of the season it's grown into this, that if they play their game, they can beat anybody in the AFC. There is no doubt about that. So go up there, play your game with the same intensity, make sure that they don't get some confidence going, because they're going to be motivated early. But like I always say with a team that, and they may find out their fate, but a team that's, towards the end of their rope, they'll come out tough. But if you smash them in the face even harder, they'll back down after a while, in my opinion. So I expect us to go up there and play our game, a clean game, a physical game, and get this team ready for the playoffs.
Former Jaguar linebacker Tom McManus with us here on Helmets and Heels. You get Tommy every day here on Helmets and Heels. Of course, not when he's on vacation, getting ready for the holidays. And a Merry Christmas to you, Tom. As a former linebacker in the National Football League, man, take us inside that locker room. All right, so you've clinched a playoff spot. But I guess from the sense that Houston keeps winning, that's probably good for Jacksonville because they have to keep their foot on the gas. How hard is it to exhale knowing you're in the playoffs, but in that same token, realizing you have to keep winning because Houston's right behind you?
Yeah, and that's the key there, Hack. And Merry Christmas to you as well. The key is that you haven't clinched the division yet, and that's what the first goal is, right? We got to win our division so then we control our destiny a little bit better when it comes to the playoff picture. I'll take you back to 1998, Hack. You probably remember, man. We were 11-5. We clinched the AFC Central back then, and then Minnesota beat us 44-10 or something like that on that Sunday. It was absolutely brutal. Randy Moss got 3 bombs, and he was only a rookie. We saw how great he was going to be up close and personal.
Yeah, I felt really bad for Jonathan Quinn that night because I think he played instead of Mark, and that was awful. Yeah.
He did. But nonetheless, I don't expect that to happen. But look, man, I mean, this is a game where you got to keep winning. I mean, you've got Houston right on your tail. They've got a big one. I think they can beat the Chargers. I think they can do it with their defense. But we'll see. The Chargers playing a little bit better as of late. And, of course, with their record, they've got just as good a record as ours, although if it was head-to-head with us, of course I would not be worried about that at all if it was the Chargers. But the Texans are on a run, too. They feel very confident. If they go out there and beat the Chargers and you drop one, now you got to, focus on other teams doing other things. So take care of your destiny. Take care of your fate, which nobody thought about it until maybe recently, but your fate is getting into that tournament and wreaking some havoc.
Tommy, we got some notes coming out of practice today. Greg Newsome, Jordan Lewis, Hainsey, and McCary did not practice. And so that's some of the things we're going to be keeping a lookout for the rest of the week, especially because on the other end, DeForest Buckner is back this weekend. So that's a bit of a change from the last time these two teams faced.
Yeah, DeForest Buckner is a beast, man. He knows how to play that D tackle, that three technique. He's a lot like our Eric Armstead. Those two. Can you imagine those two were together on the same line in San Francisco? Well, listen, I'll tell you what. Whoever plays guard, I got to credit Walker Little for stepping in at right guard. Listen, I know the one. It looked like the miscommunication on the one, where the defensive tackle came in untouched. But overall, I thought Walker jumped in and did a good job at right guard. So I hope Hainsey's okay. I hope they're all okay, obviously. But if you got to go with Walker at right guard, Hainsey at center, and then the rest, man, I think we'll be A-okay. But you're right, Taylor. DeForest Buckner will give us problems if you don't get to him early. And he hasn't been playing for a while, so he's going to be all giddied up and ready to make a difference. So we're going to make sure that we smash him too.
Tommy, I know we can't think like this, and certainly the players aren't thinking like this, but I've been asked about it a bunch, so I'll ask you. If Houston wins on Saturday, that officially eliminates Indianapolis. They will be out of playoff contention. They can say all the right things publicly. That'll be an air out of the balloon moment for them, will it not? I mean, will that affect them at all come Sunday if they're already eliminated?
Well, you don't know. I mean, it affected us, but like I just said, because we had found out that we had clinched earlier that day, and it did affect us, I think. But we didn't play all our guys. But look, again, I think the message is it's just Houston. You got to stay on top. You got to keep beating them. You got to stay ahead of them. You want that division title. You don't want a wild card. You don't. You want a division title, and then you control your destiny a little bit better. So, regardless of who they're playing, Hack, that Houston's chomping at the bit for us to lose one and for them to get one up and then get even, and then we figure it out from there. But just control your path, control the destiny. Go up there and beat a Colts team that you should beat. I mean, they're a good team, obviously. They're going to be at home. They've got plenty of really good players. There's no doubt some great, Jonathan Taylor. And they'll give you a run for the money if you let them. But if you go in there, like I said earlier, you play your game, you should take down this Colts team. And I can't believe it gets to 12-4. It's absolutely incredible.
Tommy, we have to get to our picks in just a second, but the only Jaguars Pro Bowler is the long snapper, Ross Matisic. Obviously, we've chatted about it a lot and what we think that means, what the Pro Bowl, whatever. It's a joke now, but not being some of these guys, especially someone like a Devin Lloyd, not getting acknowledged is a little frustrating.
It's a popularity contest, guys. We know that. Look, I love fans. They're absolutely great, but they shouldn't be voting for anything when it comes to award time for the best players in the National Football League because they are biased. They're going to root for their guy. They're going to root for their favorite players. They may say, well, Devin Lloyd has had a phenomenal year, but you know what? I like so-and-so better, so I'm not gonna vote for Devin Lloyd. I'm going to vote for the guy that I watch or that I like. So I think they should take that out. Clearly, that part of it, how many Pro Bowls you may get into the Hall of Fame, I don't think that should matter. And I felt this way for 2 decades, because of the fan vote. It's too much a popularity contest. But you know what's great about this? And it's not great for the individual guys because there are some guys that are deserving. There's no question. But it fits into the narrative, the disrespect thing, doesn't it? I mean, Liam's probably like, oh, man, it sucks. But at the same time, this is perfect, man. The fishing line's out. I already got him on the hook. And they believe that people disrespect us. Now I could use this. Look, guys, they do disrespect us. We only one guy on an 11-4 team. I mean, I'd be using that all day long to motivate my guys and To me, it fits right into the narrative. But it's a popularity contest. That is nothing more and nothing less.
Oh, yeah. Liam was, you could feel it today in the presser. He definitely is using that for motivation this weekend. But, Tommy, let's get to our picks. We'll cruise through these this time just because, obviously, you and Lauren on vacation, so I want to let you enjoy that time. We'll start with, at the top, Penn State at Clemson in the Pinstripe Bowl. Clemson favored by 3. I will start off. I'm going to go Clemson on this one. Tommy, which way are you going?
I don't like either team. I can't stand Penn State because I played against them. And Dabo was complaining all year, so I don't like him either. But I'm going Clemson as well.
And RJ, you have Lauren's picks. Which way is Lauren going for this?
Lauren went Clemson.
Clemson too. So all of us on Clemson
bummer.
on that one. Did you want to switch,
right.
Tommy?
No, I won't switch. I'll stick to it.
All right, we have Georgia Tech, BYU. BYU is 4.5-point favorites in the Pop-Tart Bowl. I will start with you, Tommy. Where are you going with this one?
I'm going the Yellow Jackets, man.
Okay.
I think they're going to give BYU a little run for the money. Of course, BYU, their only losses are to Texas Tech, which is a very, very good team. But I think this is one where the Yellow Jackets surprise BYU and some people as well.
All right, I'm going the opposite way. I'm going to say BYU on this one. I just think that when you look at some of their numbers, EPA per play and all of that, the opponents that they've faced again versus Georgia Tech, I think there's a little bit of a difference there. I do think it will be pretty close. That 4.5 feels kind of right to me, but we'll see which way that goes. RJ, where's Lauren going with this one?
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech also. So I am solo on the BYU pick for that. Then we're heading to Bears at Niners. Big one because the Bears win here. They clinch the NFC North. Doesn't matter what happens after that. Niners are favored by 3, a field goal at home. And so I'll start with Lauren. Which way does Lauren go with this one, RJ?
She's going with the Niners.
Niners here. Tommy, how you feeling?
I'm going Niners as well. I think Brock and the boys are playing pretty darn well. So are the Bears, no question. But it'll be an interesting one because Bears got something to play for as well.
Yeah, I feel like it will be interesting. I'm also interested just to see, since they have already clinched, what Ben Johnson does because Rome and Luther are still banged up. Tremaine and Jalen have been dealing with injuries. So there's a lot of things where maybe he takes them, has them take a little bit of rest since they clinched, but I don't know. He's super competitive. Niners defense has been rough. I thought the Bears pass rush was bad. The Niners have fewer sacks than the Bears, which is honestly crazy. And I think that's what's going to end up winning the game for Chicago. I think it'll be a higher scoring game, but the Bears pull it out towards the end, and that's also just a little hope for me. But let's go Jaguars, Colts. The Jaguars are favored 6.5 on the road at Colts. I'm going to start with this. I'm going to actually probably say all of us are going Jags because I know Lauren always picks them, and Tommy, I have a feeling you feel like they'll take care of business there.
I got Jags winning, but I don't have them covering.
Okay.
I do not. So I'm taking the Colts with the points. I think they are going to keep it close. And I think just everything kind of plays into it. I think we win the football game. We take care of it. But I don't think we cover.
All right, heading for our wild card. I am going Saints at Titans. That game, the Saints are favored 2.5. I think they win by more than 2.5. The Titans just feel to me like they have nothing left in them. The Saints, Tyler Shuck, brought a little bit of a life. I think they've won 3 straight now. So I think the Saints win by at least a field goal in that game. Tommy, how about you?
Tennessee beat Kansas City, but we'll see, man. It's a good pick. I'm going the Giants at Las Vegas. Vegas favored by 1.5. Both teams suck. I mean, they're absolutely terrible. 2-13, losers of 9 in a row for both teams. But I'm taking Jackson Dart and the New York Giants to cover and win that game.
All righty. And RJ, where's Lauren going with that one?
Dallas Cowboys, -7 at the Commanders is her wild card.
All right.
Okay.
And she's picking,
Beauty.
she's saying the Cowboys cover?
Yes.
All righty. So some good stuff there just to kind of refresh. Lauren has Cowboys -7. Tommy's going the Giants over the Raiders -1. I've got the Saints over the Titans. The Titans are favored 2.5 in that one. And then our other ones, we all have Clemson over Penn State, Georgia Tech. Tommy and Lauren have Georgia Tech over BYU. I went BYU. Tommy and Lauren went Niners as Bears and Niners. The Niners favored by 3 in that one. I went the Bears. Jags, Colts. Jaguars favored by 6.5. Lauren and I have the Jags. Tommy went the Colts. Jags win, but a closer game. So it'll be an interesting weekend, Tommy. I know there's a lot of games that are kind of going to be dictated of whether they're getting in the playoffs, seeding, and so it's going to be a crazy weekend, and so a lot to go on, including some Christmas Day games. So you've got a lot of football coming up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it, man. Great time of the year. And, again, it's the most wonderful time of the year when your team's 11-4 and top your division headed with 2 games remaining. So it's going to be a great time up here, and going to be a great time watching our Jags beat the Colts for that 12th victory this Sunday.
All right, Tommy, well, enjoy your time. Merry Christmas, and I will see you next week.
Merry Christmas, guys. Have a great day and a great Christmas.
Thank you. All right, Hack. So I know we were going to involve you in the picks just for fun, but I was like, we have to fly through these things. So
I feel completely left out. Yes, it's going to be a void for the rest of my day.
All right, we've got our Edwards coming on, ESPN NFL analyst, to talk some NFL, to talk some Jags. That's coming up next here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
From the Greenlaw Group Studios.
Hey, folks, it's Frank Frangie. Now, I've been telling you about my daughter, Amber, and she's been telling you how much weight she's dropped with Awaken 180. It's hard to believe. Even in football season, even when she hangs out with her friends, and even when she tailgates and does all that stuff, she's still losing weight. You can even drink alcohol. Can you believe that? Well, Awaken 180 shows you how to swap calories, not flavor. You have to be disciplined, but they make it easy. Amber and I talk about this all the time. She can't believe how easy it is, and she's so excited about it. But what I will tell you is it's really working. I see how excited she is. I see the look on her face. I see how her self-esteem has changed and her confidence. It's one of the greatest things that's ever happened with my daughter, and it means that much to me. Now, Awaken 180 programs are reimbursable with your HSA or FSA, and those HSA dollars expire December 31st. Don't leave money on the table. Call Awaken 180 today and kickstart your transformation before the new year. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or go to awaken180weightloss.com.
Look around and we know you've got options for gasoline, but those other places, they're not in the business of more. At Shell, that's what you get every day. Members get more rewards, more savings, more special offers. You'll even get 10 cents per gallon off of your first fill when you sign up, and save on every fill after that. Choose to get more and more with every drive. Join the Shell Fuel Rewards program today at fuelrewards.com. Offer valid at participating Shell locations. Offer must be redeemed within 60 days of registration. Limit 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com for more information.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, folks were smiling thanks to more of their own money in their accounts. Hello, it's Congressman Aaron Bean. This year, we delivered the largest tax cut in history, the Working Families Tax Cut. It will help you keep more of what you earn, strengthen Medicaid, and protect the financial strength of Northeast Florida's families, businesses, and seniors. During the holidays, and as always, serving you is what we do. Visit bean.house.gov. Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Your home deserves more than just another coat of paint. It deserves quality that lasts. At First Coast Paint, you'll find premium Benjamin Moore products, trusted advice, and the local experts who help you get it right the first time. Whether it's your living room, your porch, or your whole house, First Coast Paint brings your paint project to life. Stores in St. John's and St. Augustine. One name Jacksonville Trust. Mention 1010XL for 10% off. First Coast Paint. Simply superior paint.
Hey, Jags fans. Tommy Mack here. Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with Crown Royal Rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with generous spirit. Visit crownroyal.com/Royal Rig on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 48th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off on GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget. And with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach open 7 days a week in December.
In Northeast Florida, power outages are unavoidable, but losing comfort, security, and peace of mind doesn't have to be. With a Generac home standby generator from American Electrical Contractors, your power comes back on automatically the moment an outage begins. As Jacksonville's leading and one of the longest-running Generac dealers, American Electrical Contracting has the experience you deserve. Be prepared. Protect your home and family. Protect your business. Generac standby generators from American Electrical Contractors. Call 737-7770 or online at american-electrical.com.
Checkmate.
I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings. And I'm Chester, adorable mascot for Checkmate Coatings.
If you're thinking of refinishing your garage floor, there's 2 things you need to know about us. My family has been in the concrete coatings industry for more than 40 years.
And I was drawn 6 months ago by an artist in New Jersey.
Why is that even relevant?
Well, you said 40 years experience, so I had to give them something.
Over the years, we've worked closely with major manufacturers to develop a multi-layer application process that creates beautiful, durable, and long-lasting floors.
So even decades from now, your garage floor will look as gorgeous as it did the day it was installed.
Experience?
Check. Durable?
Check. Decades of experience making garage floors gorgeous? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels. Hacker is here. Taylor Dahl here, RJ Saunders here, Tommy McManus. He just joined us to chat a little bit of Jags and make our picks. He is on vacation up in North Georgia. Lauren is also on vacation. And so we're holding it down here as RJ is efforting Herm Edwards so we can talk some more NFL and some more Jags. We'll chat a little bit more about this game this weekend, Hacker. And, you know, Tommy said it. We've all said it when it comes to the importance of this game. And I think that the one thing you can say throughout this season is, and it's okay to do this, is moving your mark for where your expectations are. And I think that when we started this season, a lot of people had them, I think majority, probably 8-9 wins is where a lot of people kind of saw the Jaguars sitting. I think they maybe thought it would be a little bit more of a slower start and then you'd start winning later. It went maybe a little different than you thought, but you start moving the mark as the season goes of what you expect from Trevor Lawrence on a weekly basis, what you are expecting from a Parker Washington and a Brenton Strange, and now Jacoby Myers added. And then defensively, some of the ups and downs they had early to now what we're seeing from Eric Armstead and the pass rush in general and some of these things they're doing. So for you, throughout the season, from week 1 to now, Hack, what do you feel like which one of your marks changed the most of maybe what you've been surprised at throughout the season as time has gone?
Trying to think what hasn't changed. Yeah. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, obviously, from where he was in September to where he is now is a 180-degree difference. Travis Etienne's reemergence. I mean, the fact that Etienne's having a career year, basically, going into a contract year. Devin Lloyd is another guy. You know, Devin Lloyd and Etienne both, we thought at training camp, will Etienne even be here? Yep. Will he be traded or cut? Remember all that talk with Tank Bigsby getting #1 reps? It's amazing how much things change from August to December. Devin Lloyd, kind of the same thing. Is he going to beat out, Chad Muma and Ventrell Miller for that spot? Well, at least Ventrell made the roster. Yeah. Muma went to the Colts, and now I believe he's on the Patriots.
Yeah, he's in New England.
Yeah,
now.
On the Patriots. So things have changed drastically, but almost for the better. In fact, I'm trying to think if anything is more negative now than I expected it to be in August. And I don't think there. I mean, the offensive line has played well. There were some ups and downs, towards the middle of the year, but I think the offensive line has played considerably better. The pass rush has improved. The secondary has improved. It's hard to literally find one thing that has not gotten better from where the season started to where the Jaguars are right now.
Yeah, I think the one critique may be the run game, because I do think that through camp, the run game looked really good. It started strong, and that's one of the areas. I saw a tweet earlier by Daniel Griffiths. I think you've had him on your show also. We've had him on Helmets and Heels quite a few times, but he went through and kind of made a note of some of the run game in the last 4 games. They're 30th in yards, 32nd in yards per carry, 32nd in yards before contact, 26th in yards after contact, 30th in explosive percentage, 32nd in success percentage, and 31st in EPA per rush.
See, and I love analytics, and I have Daniel on a bunch too, and I think he does a terrific job, and those numbers are factual. And we talked about this yesterday, the fact that they're going to have to run the ball in the postseason. But the reason they're lacking in the running game right now is the same reason that Trevor Lawrence is flourishing.
Yeah.
All of these teams know how good Jacksonville is if you don't put 8 guys in the box.
Yeah.
Well, guess what happens when you put 8 guys in the box?
You can throw the ball.
Trevor Lawrence can go for 280 and 3 touchdowns. So it's kind of a pick your poison.
Yeah.
And the first time teams only put 6 or 7 in the box, ETN's going to be back to getting 4 or 5 yards a carry. So all those numbers are factual, and statistically they have been lacking. But because the running game has been lacking, the passing game has been flourishing, and thus the Jaguars have won 6 games in a row.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not complaining, because I think that the one thing that Liam Cohen has been able to do is find ways to win and make things happen offensively. In the beginning of the year, when you were having moments where there were a lot of drops and Trevor was overthrowing and there were turnovers happening and you felt like you couldn't move the ball down the field through the air, you were able to run. And then the moment that teams kind of started figuring that out, they said, okay, let's open up this offense. And we've talked about the pieces like a Jacoby Myers and a Brenton Strange that have helped that in this late part of the season. And so I'm not mad. It is just the one thing to me that I felt like this was one of the best rushing offenses in the NFL. And other teams do it. There's other teams that have really good running backs and people stack the box and the running backs still have 100 yards a game. The Jags aren't doing that at this point in time. So you want to see a little bit more. I think the run game, the run offense in general is going to be important if you want to make a run in the postseason.
You know, I did this last night. Obviously, we've talked so much about Trevor and ETN and Hines Allen and the big-time stars on the team. If you were to have a conversation about who is the biggest unsung hero on this team, you might be able to throw 15 guys out there. It's an amazing conversation when you start thinking, all right, who is the guy that's most under the radar, the guy we expected nothing from in September that we've gotten everything from 15 games into the year? I mean, just look on the offensive line in particular. Robert Hainsey, I was told he was the backup in Tampa. He lost his job. What are we doing signing him? Robert Hainsey's been pretty good, hadn't he? Cole Van Lannon was a complete afterthought in the preseason.
Oh, yeah.
The guy has played 4 positions along the offensive line, and he is now your starting left tackle. You go to Quentin Morris is a guy. I would imagine most people listening right now, and I mean this, when the season started, did not know Quentin Morris was on the Jaguar roster. Had no idea.
Yep.
He was the 4th tight end. It was a blurb on the wire that they signed this guy from Buffalo, and how unbelievably valuable has Quentin Morris been.
Yeah.
And you can just go on down the line rattling off 10, 15 of those type guys as unsung heroes, which is why this Jaguar team is where they are. You need your stars to perform, obviously, to be 11-4. But you also need the unsung guys to perform, and Jacksonville has had a ton of those.
Yeah, and I think that I've said it on this show before, that I was one of the ones saying that I hated the Hainsey signing. I didn't like it in the beginning. The people I talked to in Tampa were like, have fun with that, goodbye. And
Really?
Because
I talked to a lot of guys in Tampa.
It's changed since.
No,
but at the time.
when it happened, I talked
they were
about
mad.
3 different people in Tampa, and they all said, they talked about the great locker room guy that he was.
Yeah.
They talked about how he's going to interact with Cohen and how that'll help the offense. It's interesting you say that, because I got a lot of positive stuff on Hainsey as opposed to negative
we
stuff.
got good person stuff. He's a nice guy. He's a great guy. He's a locker room guy. But we got a lot of, and this was on Helmets and Heels, a lot more like there's a reason he didn't win the starting job and lost it to a rookie. Like that's what we kept hearing. And so I feel like that conversation shifted. I was very wrong on the Hainsey signing. And I think another name, and we've talked about a ton lately, is Devin Lloyd. And I think that Devin Lloyd didn't get the 5th-year option. The conversation was Trayvon Walker got us the 5th-year option and Devin Lloyd didn't. What does this mean for Devin Lloyd? And then throughout camp, honestly, you were seeing a lot of Ventrell in front of Devin Lloyd. You were seeing all of the linebackers in certain periods through camp playing before Devin Lloyd when it comes to the rankings, or the way the depth chart was lined up there. And then look at the season he's having right now. And it's just been incredible. Antonio Johnson, to me, is another guy that I feel like has been so much fun to watch, and that is definitely overplaying what a lot of people thought he was going to.
I always root for Antonio Johnson because he and I have the same birthday. So I've always been an Antonio Johnson guy. Devin Lloyd, I talked to him 5 times during training camp. I just found myself talking to Devin Lloyd a ton in July and August. I thought he handled that not getting the 5th-year option as well as any player could have. You want to talk about the ultimate professional, and then he has taken that and ran with it to the point now where I think it is a legit conversation if you franchise Devin Lloyd to not let him leave here. You're gonna and look,
he may have ultimately won not getting.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And look, there's a playoff conversation certainly, but one of the big topics as soon as the season ends, hopefully after the Super Bowl parade downtown, is you might have to make a decision: ETN versus Lloyd.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to franchise one of them. Who are you going to franchise, Travis Etienne or Devin Lloyd?
And that's a good conversation to be having, honestly, if you're picking players. You don't want to lose either of them, but it's a good place to be where you're having players that you want to keep on this roster so much, but also deserve to be higher paid players. Let's get to, I have a tangent on the other side. We also have free lunch to give away, so we'll do that coming up next here on Helmets and Heels, brought to you on 1010XL. 92.5 FM.
The tape doesn't lie, and neither does he. Jeff Lockeman breaks down the film and shares his insights with you Tuesdays during football season on Jaguars Today. Check the Tape Tuesday. Checked by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
From the Greenlaw Group Studio.
Helmets and Heels.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 24th, 1967, the New York Jets quarterback Joe Namath becomes the first player in NFL history to throw for 4,000 yards in a single season.
A new exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card is your opportunity to go from card holder to ticket holder for the FIFA World Cup 2026. For a limited time, when you're approved for a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card, you're eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more today at BofA.com/card FWC26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America N.A. in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and when the weather starts to shift a little bit, especially during the fall, you've got some really cool stuff from Honda Off-Road.
We do. It's the favorite time of the year for me. Nice little chill in the air. We've got some side-by-sides. We've got the ATVs. Of course, they're legendary dirt bikes. We've got it all.
And for the hunter?
Oh, we've got side-by-sides that work and play.
All right, so make sure you check it out. Showroom wide open for you on Atlantic near Regency. If you want to go off-road and have some fun, check out Cycles of Jacksonville.
It's the Jaguars' final home game of the 2025 regular season, and you don't want to miss it. Join us for our fan appreciation game as the Jaguars face off against the Tennessee Titans in a can't-miss division matchup. It's your chance to cheer on the team as they take the field in their Prowler throwbacks for one last time this season. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action. Go to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Here's a health and wellness tip from orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Every joint in the body was designed for movement. Inactivity can cause stiffness, weakness, weight gain, and decrease in overall balance. So you should strive for at least 30 minutes a day of exercises that promote flexibility like yoga, strengthening with weights, and cardiovascular fitness like walking, swimming, or biking. The more you move, the better you will feel, and your overall health will benefit. Let's get healthy, Jax. Go Jags.
Stay healthy with orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
December 24th, Merry Christmas, everybody. And the Jacksonville Jaguars have clinched a playoff spot. That is what we are talking about here on Helmets and Heels. Hackers joining me today as Lauren and Tommy are on vacation. And now it's time for Taylor's Tangent.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
Hack, this is kind of a continuation from yesterday. My tangent yesterday was about the DK Metcalf and the fan. More news has come out since yesterday when it comes to, we already talked, he was fine, DK suspended for 2 games, and the potential of losing a lot of guaranteed money is involved in that. Their final 2 regular season games, and they're also in the position of playing for that 1 seed, technically. They have it right now, but the Rams are in the right there in the cusp for it with them. So there's a lot of kind of conversation of that, how much that's hurting them. And then the videos start surfacing of, and I mentioned this one yesterday, the one player coming back to his seat after kind of taunting and heckling DK Metcalf and going back to his seat and saying, like, that was the point. I did my job. That's what I went down there to do. And you and I talked about it yesterday, Hack, of like DK needs some restraint in those situations. Don't walk over to the fan. You're far away. The benches are far away enough to where you can just grab somebody and be like, hey, get that guy. But in reverse, now it's also been announced that the Lions are taking no action towards the fan when it comes to, they said he did not break the code of conduct that they have listed on their website. But then now that's an appeal because I guess now other videos have surfaced. Other people around that were in that situation have reached out to both the NFL and the Lions and said some of the things that, and it hasn't been released exactly what the fans said yet or what is going on. But now that's kind of being appealed, and the Lions are taking another look at the code of conduct and what this fan may have done. But I just don't know any situation where you shouldn't at least say you can't come for the rest of the season or whatever the case may be. It's not like you can fine a fan. That's not going to be the circumstance. But I do think we've seen fans not being allowed back into games for less things. And there's clearly enough evidence for them to be appealing this right now that the fan did say or do something that was crossing a boundary for the code of conduct.
Look, as a fan, you have every right to boo somebody, tell them somebody sucks. You have every right to do that. And we don't know what he said to DK Metcalf. I mean, that could have been it. I would find it hard to believe, as much as DK Metcalf has been told that he sucks in visiting stadiums, that he would walk over to that fan and confront him over something like that. I would imagine, and again, I don't know this, but I would imagine it was probably a little more than that. I don't want to jump to too big a conclusion there. But the bottom line is, if you're DK Metcalf, you got to be smarter. You simply cannot do, as a player, what you did. I know it's tough to not confront somebody or whatever, but you have a responsibility as a player to not walk over there and not do that. That is what stadium security is for. That is what team security is for. That is why they get paid on Sunday afternoons, to handle situations like that. So if you're DK Metcalf, you absolutely have to be smarter. And look, if it comes out that the fan, all he said was, Metcalf, you're terrible, you suck.
Then nothing.
Seattle was right to get rid of you, whatever. The fan has every right to do that. That's why you pay a ticket. That's why you're a fan. If it's proven the fan did not cross that line.
Yeah. And that's what my brain's still in Seattle. He's obviously in Pittsburgh now. So there are 2 games up on the Ravens, but there's still some, depending what the Ravens do the last couple weeks and what the Steelers do, that could get shaky. So that's the side of that. But yeah, I agree with you. I think if it comes out and it seems like there's enough videos they must know something for the NFL to now say, okay, yeah, we'll listen to some of these things, because I saw a few on the internet of the one player walking back up. Somebody said that they have one of him leaning over to where you can hear what he said. I haven't seen that one or heard exactly what he was saying in that, but everyone's recording now, so there's videos somewhere that got this guy and that has this guy saying whatever he did say. But I agree with you in the sense, if he's just saying you suck and like you can't score and you guys are gonna lose and Pittsburgh sucks and whatever, that's one thing. But there's boundaries, and I think that if you start to insult somebody personally, if you're insulting their family, if you're calling them inappropriate names, then that's when that boundary comes in, and that's when it goes beyond the game. We're here to have a good time at the end of the day, and we can all boo and we can chant whatever team sucks and F that team. But I think when you make it personal and start making personal insults, that's when you're crossing that line as a fan. So we will see what ends up coming out of that. I was seeing a lot of stuff going back and forth. I did want to share a couple more notes too, and I'll make this a kind of part 2 of my tangent when it comes to the top 5 teams in the NFL against the spread this year, Hacker. The Rams, who are 11-4, the Bears, the Seahawks, and the Jags are all 10-5 against the spread, and the Patriots are 9-5-1 against the spread. There was another stat I saw too that most pass yards. This is an earlier season issue, I think, for the Jags specifically. Some of these other teams it's been throughout, but most passing yards lost due to drops this season. Caleb Williams has lost 352. Trevor Lawrence in second with 319. Stafford with 306. Dak Prescott with 303. And I saw the number yesterday. I think the Jags have the most drops in the league right now, still with 34. But I remember back on October 8th, they had 21. So that 21 came in a lot towards the beginning, and they definitely have settled down. You don't feel like the drops are as big of an issue, but you have over 300 yards lost. Trevor Lawrence has 300 lost, and that affects completion percentage when people want to box score watch. That's some of those numbers that you see going into there. But now I want to give away some lunch, so give us a call at 641-1010, and you get free lunch to Chick-fil-A. Let's say caller number 2 will do that, and then on the other side, we'll talk a lot more Jags. We'll talk some college football, and we'll talk some Colts coming up here in hour 2 on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Jags crushed the Colts at the bank. Now it's time to finish with a flourish. It's division domination in Indy. Jaguars, Colts, Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Helmets and Heels.
From the Green Law Group Studios.
Quality work is sometimes hard to come by these days, and if you want quality in a fence that'll last, make the call to Duval. Duval Fence, that is, a good Jacksonville company with good Jacksonville people committed to quality service. If you need a fence for your home, for a business, anything, just call Duval Fence at 260-4747. Give them an idea of what you're looking for, and they'll take care of the rest. Property fence, privacy fence, pool or pets. Make sure you call Duval Fence today.
When someone excels in and out of the classroom, we should celebrate it.
That's why 1010XL brings you the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist's Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Wednesdays on The Frangie Show, tuned up by
the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Your pipes are leaking, don't get nervous. Fa la 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 la. Call Roll and Reach for same-day service. Fa la 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 la. He guarantees your satisfaction. Fa la 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 la. Call Roland and he'll spring into action. Fa la 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 la. This holiday season, if you have a leak and can't wait a week, dial 904-260-7059. And from the Roll and Reach family to yours, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. Universal Roof and Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
Parker Washington was bounding and astounding in the Mile High City on Sunday. The teal and black wideout had 145 yards on 6 receptions and also tallied a touchdown on what was a fantastic day. He stays on the roll and in control. Parker simply produces, and he's your Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
This holiday season, Universal Roof and Contracting is making it easy to check roof repairs off your list. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through December 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home and building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Do you have numbness and tingling in your fingers, or wake up at night and have to shake your hand? Hi, I'm Dr. George Bari, and at Bari Orthopedics, we have a myriad of treatments that can possibly help you. If you have numbness and tingling, you may have carpal tunnel. We have cortisone injections, PRP injections, and shockwave therapy that may help treat the numbness and tingling that you have. We also treat it surgically with endoscopic carpal tunnel release, a 2-centimeter incision that will release the nerve and have you back at work and doing what you want to do in life in no time. If you have numbness and tingling in your hand, give Give us a call at Ball Your Orthopedics or log on at ballyourorthopedics.com.
It's the best time of year for sports. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes, it's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which games to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code 1010XL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code 1010XL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Hacker here for the best weight loss program that I've ever been on. You know, I hear some of my friends telling me about this medication they're on or that medication they're on or this shot they're taking. And I stop them and say, well, wait a minute. I lost over 100 pounds doing it the all-natural way with Awaken 180 weight loss. There was no medications. There was no shot once a week. There was the coaching I received from Awaken 180. There's the plan they put me on, and you see the results. Over 100 pounds of weight loss in less than a calendar year. The coaching I got was phenomenal. Not only did it help me lose the weight, it's helping me keep the weight off now that I'm in the maintenance program. Awaken 180 is the best weight loss program I've ever been on, and I tried them all. Go to awaken180weightloss.com, awaken180weightloss.com, or call 844-346-1800.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. Logan Cook wins the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week award for his performance in the 34-20 Jaguars victory at Denver in Week 16. Cook pinned 4 of his 6 punts inside the 20-yard line, including 2 placed within the 10. This is the first Special Teams Player of the Week honor of his career. It marks the second time this season and the 31st time overall that a Jaguars player has won the award. Right now, 79 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Welcome back into hour 2 of Helmets and Heels. Hacker here, Taylor Dahl here, RJ Saunders here. We got a little bit of breaking news when it comes to college football, Hack, and Hayes Fawcett has reported that Florida's Trey Wilson is entering the transfer portal. He told On3 Sports the Gator he had a little over 1,000 yards, 1,043 and 10 touchdowns this season with the Gators. So now several guys have entered the portal, I think expected, including quarterback DJ Lagway. So thoughts on that, Hack, when it comes to some of these guys leaving?
Well, first off, it's so funny because you'll see guys that are leaving, and then it'll say so-and-so player has re-signed with Florida. It's like, what world are we living in?
To see re-sign.
Oh, my gosh.
It throws me off every time.
In college football, I mean, if you would have said something like that 5 years ago, you would slammed on the brakes. Do what? But yeah, people are re-signing with their college program now. Not totally unexpected. Look, offensively for the Gators, it's all about Jaden Ball, Dallas Wilson, and Vernell Brown III. If you keep Jaden Ball, Dallas Wilson, and Vernell Brown III, you're going to be in terrific shape, and particularly Jaden Ball. Now, we don't have clarity on that yet. As you mentioned, Lagway, this is probably the second most notable to enter the portal in Trey Wilson behind DJ Lagway. But Florida can't bring anybody in until January 2nd when the portal opens. And I have no doubt that John Sumrall, I've been told he is a portal maniac, or at least he was at Tulane. So I have no doubt Florida will add quite a bit of talent out of the portal. But yeah, anytime a guy that has over 1,000 receiving yards in your program enters the portal, it is newsworthy. And Trey Wilson, the latest to enter the transfer portal.
There's a lot of people that obviously think, or at least say other teams are trying to get Jaden Baugh to enter the portal. Do you see a world where he just explores?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? In today's day and age, if you're Jaden Baugh, you might literally be the most highly coveted tailback in America, and you could go to the highest bidder, potentially. So, yeah, explore, no question. And I think Florida will explore every avenue to try to keep Jaden Baugh, because that is going to be a vitally important, not only from a player, from a roster perception, but from a talent perception as well. Jaden Baugh was the best offensive player Florida had last year. If you lose him, that would certainly be a blow for John Sumrall in year number 1.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think we talked to Maddie Hudak. She is the sideline reporter for Tulane, and we chatted with her earlier, and she had every good thing to say about Sumrall and how he's been able to bring in players, develop players, hit the portal when he needed to. But he's really good at building a staff. I mean, we're seeing that early on in Florida, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But let's go ahead and chat some more college football with Randy Cross. He's joining us now. Hey, Randy, how you doing? This is Taylor Dahl and Hacker on Helmets and Heels. Randy Cross, former offensive lineman for UCLA and the Niners. Thanks for joining us and talking a little bit of college football on Christmas Eve.
No problem. No problem. You know, this whole NIL transfer thing makes college football such a transient year-to-year business. It's crazy, except for a couple of teams out there that somehow have managed to, I don't know if they've mastered it or they've mastered our old model to the extent where it makes them, pretty hard to beat. You look at what Kirby Smart's done at Georgia. 90% of his players, 90% of the starts by his players this year are guys he recruited, and only 10% is by transfers. And you look at some of the other teams that made the playoff, all the way down to Ole Miss, that has, I don't know, I think it's 68 or 78% of their starts are by transfers. Mm-hmm. There's a sweet spot in there somewhere. Sumrall's got to beat. It has to hit at Florida. But, if you're giving out advice to a guy getting a big job like that, I would study Kirby, and I would study Nick, and I would study, Day, and those guys. They've concentrated on the line of scrimmage, and they augment with transfers.
Randy, when you're talking about that, you mentioned, the being able to have that balance. And one of the guys that gets criticized heavily for not getting a lot of those transfers and not hitting the portal and not really wanting to is Dabo Swinney. Do you think he's a little heavily criticized for not wanting to? And just because some of these other guys really aren't doing it either, but they are winning?
Well, I think honestly he's heavily criticized because he's got the guts to stand out there and say it, and not only the guts to stand out there and say it, he's basically done it. He is doing about what Kirby's doing. Like I said, Georgia's at 10% of their starts come from transfers. Ohio State's the next team out of the playoff teams, and I think they're at like 26%. So it's worth studying. It's worth looking at. But, I think there's plenty of room to do this the right way. I think you have to consider what Cignetti did. I think an anomaly. Because if that's the way you do it, then Dion would have been successful immediately too, because he did the wholesale chain.
Randy Cross was a 3-time Super Bowl champion. He's covered the world of college football and the National Football League for years, and he's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Randy, we might throw you a Jaguar question towards the end. They're obviously having an amazing year, but we talked about John Sumrall at the University of Florida. I'm just curious, your thoughts on the hire, obviously all the Lane Kiffin talk heading into the surge. He ends up going to Baton Rouge. Florida lands John Sumrall. What were your thoughts on what the Gators were able to do there?
I was a good hire. I love what he's done in his last couple spots, especially what he was able to maintain. Because, you look at what was there and the winning they did at Tulane, usually when you have a coach's change, it suffers. And he basically kept him level to up. And that's a great sign. And I think he's smart enough to do things, I think, his way. He's going to take a lot of crap probably from fans and alums and everybody else that may not like everything that he does. But I think getting him at Florida was a smart move, because this guy he knows how to build. And that's what is every year in college football. Every year is a construction project. Mm-hmm. It's no longer a remodel. It's a full-on, we're tearing the back of this sucker off, and we're going to put a pool in the backyard and all that.
Randy, looking at some of the games this weekend, too, that we'll stick to Florida, Miami playing Ohio State. Feels like it's going to be one of those super physical line of scrimmage type games, that Ohio State defensive line against that Miami offensive line. Who do you think is able to win that battle this weekend?
Miami's swimming uphill in this one. I'd love to say they can do the same thing they did in the first game. I just don't think so. Alabama, to me, shouldn't have been in the playoff to start with. They beat Oklahoma, which, basically the result of that to me was, hey, nice job. You were down 17-0. And you came back. I think that's great. But I don't know. These are the games right now. The playoffs start now. And I think now we've got these really good teams meeting up. It's going to be Ohio State's going to be hell to beat. Georgia's going to be hell to beat. There's one team in this playoff that people aren't talking much about that is such an unknown. Talk about NIL and transfers. Texas Tech is really, really good. And if there's a way you can look at your side of the bracket and go, I'd rather not play them till the end.
Randy, let me ask you this. You mentioned Curt Cignetti earlier at Indiana. I mean, the fact that he's 23-2 in 2 years in Bloomington is absolutely astounding. If they go on a run here and win 3 in a row to cap off a 16-0 season and a national championship, I mean, I'm not trying to overstate this. Would that potentially be the biggest story in the history of college football?
I think recently, my alma mater, UCLA, just hired the James Madison coach, and they're just hoping against hope that lightning can strike twice in the same place. But what Cignetti did, I think, was a perfect match of time, place, and person. With the NIL being what it was, with the transfer being what it was, everything about the game changing. It gave him some latitude that I don't believe he would have had if he normally get a job at Indiana. Would it be unbelievable? I think it would be an unbelievable story to win that national championship for them. But, I wouldn't go an all-timer, because I think that's one thing we all kind of forget at times is we lose track of what's happened after about 5 to 10 years ago. There have been some pretty amazing undefeated seasons. But this one in this scenario, plus now it's an NFL schedule.
Yeah.
Just think of what you just said. A 16-0. Holy Jesus, what are we doing to these kids? I know we're paying them now, but the wear and tear before they've even got to the NFL is going to start showing up and shortening those careers too.
And that's Indiana with a bye. Alabama, if they make a run, they would play 17 games because they obviously had 13, and it would take 4 for them to get to the national championship. Final moments with Randy Cross, a college football Hall of Famer and a 3-time Super Bowl champion. I can't have Randy Cross on 1010XL in Jacksonville without getting a thought from you on the Jaguars, Randy. 11-4, Liam Cohen's first year, already clinching a playoff spot, just the 9th time in the 31-year history of the franchise that they are in the postseason. Just speak to the job that has been done here, and it looks like Trevor Lawrence has certainly turned a corner.
Yeah, and for all of you out there that have teams that draft really talented college quarterbacks, you need to coach the hell out of those kids. You need somebody as a head coach and coordinator and everything else that is going to match up well and really coach these guys, strip them down and everything, technique and whatnot. I looked at Trevor the last couple of years, and he just didn't look right. He didn't look like the same guy. This guy that's playing this year looks like the kid that played at Clemson, because he looks like he's a kid. He looks like there's a lot of weight off him. He looks like he's having just a ton of fun. And, you look at the toys they put around him and those lines and the defense. I mean, they're built to win, and they're built to win like now. Now, can they emotionally handle that? That's going to be the hard part. You can only stay a happy dummy so long. When you start winning games, you're not used to winning. It's like, hey, we did this in college, or I did this in high school. I know what I'm doing. But it'll hit you sooner or later that you're doing this in the NFL.
All right, Randy. Well, we really appreciate your time. There's a lot of football coming up these next several days that are going to mean a lot for, obviously, college football, a lot of playoff implications for the NFL. So we appreciate your time and joining us today, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
All right, y'all have a Merry Christmas, too. And like I said, watch out for Texas Tech.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it. Texas Tech, Oregon, the 4 versus the 5 in the college football playoff. Texas Tech, maybe the most obscure team in college football. Quickly back to Trevor Lawrence. Second straight week, FedEx Aaron Brown Offensive Player of the Week. Trevor Lawrence, back-to-back weeks. That's what happens, Taylor, when you have 10 touchdowns and no turnovers in back-to-back victories. So congratulations to Trevor Lawrence and Logan Cook earlier today. Yeah, was the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. We won't tell Liam Cohen about this, though. We're going to continue the disrespect.
We'll just continue that because that gets them fired up. And we will continue some more Jags Colts talk on the other side as we're joined by Rick Venturi. He is the color analyst for Colts Radio. So we'll do that coming up next on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Wake up with Hayes Carline and a big bowl of football.
Say you are what you eat.
On the Terminix Kickoff Show, prepared by Campione Law and American Electrical Contracting. 5 hours before kickoff on 1010XL.
Helmets and Heels.
Backed by Green Law Group.
For the insured.
Fighting for you.
Go Seat for Hard Rock Bet, where there's always something happening and so many ways to bet it. Who's going to score a touchdown? First and second half lines and totals. Where's the best play on an underdog? Follow the money on the Hard Rock Bet app. Great pro picks, and now we're down to Championship Saturday before the playoffs in college. Don't miss out. Download the Hard Rock Bet app. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. The Chick-fil-A Peppermint Chip Milkshake is a holiday tradition that's back for another season. Hand-spun the old-fashioned way, this festive peppermint-flavored milkshake is made with Chick-fil-A ice cream dessert and features chips of crunchy peppermint bark. It's minty, merry, and topped with whipped cream and cherry when served in stores. Order in the Chick-fil-A app today.
It's the blog players put their pads on for.
So we want it, we got to bring it.
My thoughts and observations on our home team. That's what I share with you every week on my blog.
Roland Reach Plumbing brings you Hayes Blog on 1010XL.com.
'Tis the season for savings at Green Acres Sporting Goods. Take advantage of the Second Amendment sales tax holiday now through December 31st. Firearms, ammo, and accessories, all tax-free. Secure your holiday gifts with a Browning gun safe, and they'll deliver it right to your door. Come test shoot the newest bows by Hoyt and Matthews at Green Acres Sporting Goods at the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard.
Ready to upgrade your home? It's Renewal by Anderson's 31-day sale. Buy one, get one 40% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months, but this offer expires December 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
New Year's Eve sale prices are happening now at Superior Fireworks in Orange Park. Locally owned superstore with something for everyone at any budget. Stop in today for early savings or online at superiorfireworks.com.
In Northeast Florida, power outages are unavoidable, but losing comfort, security, and peace of mind doesn't have to be. With a Generac home standby generator from American Electrical Contractors, your power comes back on automatically the moment an outage begins. As Jacksonville's leading and one of the longest-running Generac dealers, American Electrical Contracting has the experience you deserve. Be prepared. Protect your home and family. Protect your business. Generac standby generators from American Electrical Contractors. Call 737-7770 or online at american-electrical.com.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners.
Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itbpartners.com. ITB Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Budweiser reminds us to drink wiser, like hydrating between beers. It keeps the fun going longer, and it's a commitment to responsibility. Remember, good times are ahead, so no need to overdo it. Know when to say when, and always designate a driver.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
1, 2, 3, my baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure.
Welcome back to Helmets and Heels on a Christmas Eve. Hacker is here, Taylor Dahl here, RJ Saunders here, and we're going to continue on Jaguars versus Colts talk as the 11-4 Jags get ready for this weekend. And we are joined now by Rick Venturi. He's former Colts and NFL coach, now voice of Colts radio color analyst. So Rick, thanks so much for hopping on and chatting some division rivalry.
Yeah, Taylor, it's great to be on with you. I think our city here, with the way this season's gone, I think we need a city psychiatrist. But thank God, at least we're not playing them in Duval this week. So looking forward to it on Sunday.
Yeah, Rick, believe me, we've had many of the seasons where we've needed the psychiatrist too, so we understand more than ever. But let's chat a little bit. The Phillip Rivers return, it's been interesting. The impressive part to me of watching Phillip Rivers, and we've seen maybe the arm isn't quite there. He can't move around the way he can, but some of those things that he is able to do at the line of scrimmage, pre-snap, dissecting certain things, it is really fun to watch him do that because it's just that era of quarterbacks that were so good at that type of thing. But chat a little bit just about Phillip Rivers, and he also kind of threw away his Hall of Fame eligibility for, a few games for the Colts too, but chat a little bit about his time back so far.
Well, when we left Jacksonville and we were demoralized and, with the loss of Danny Jones and the way that big game went back there, and we needed a lift, and out of nowhere, Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen turned to Rivers. I mean, a lot of people laughed. I didn't because I covered him here in 20. I knew that his familiarity with Shane would give him instant credibility in the locker room as a leader, but B, instant knowledge of running the game. And, the irony of it is, I mean, he doesn't have the zip, but he never, the thing about Phillip was Phillip never beat you with athleticism. He beat you with the things you talked about. Tremendous intelligence at the line of scrimmage, very, very decisive. It's an odd release, but it's a quick silver release. He's very, very hard to get to, and he's an inspirational guy. I mean, there's no doubt that he lifted us emotionally and certainly in the game, certainly the offense. And the thing about it, Taylor, is that really – despite what anybody may think in the results, he's really kept us in 2 games. He did everything possible to win by just not making mistakes in Seattle. I mean, we have the lead with 59 minutes gone in 13 seconds and give the game up on defense with 47 seconds. And then last week, despite a miserable performance by our defense, just a phone-in performance, I mean, he was going back and forth. At one point in the third quarter, it was 34-27. So he really upped his totals from the week before, got a little rust off. Of course, playing inside, I think it helps his velocity a little bit. But, I think we brought him in, and I think he's done everything he can do to win. Our defense just hasn't been able to finish games.
Rick Venturi, color analyst, Colts Radio, with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Of course, you'll get the Jaguar broadcast of Jags Colts right here Sunday at 1 o'clock. Rick, coming into the year, I think it was pretty safe to say that both GM Chris Ballard and head coach Shane Steichen up there in Indianapolis were on somewhat of a hot seat. Then all of a sudden you start 8-2 and all was right with the world. The injuries have decimated that, now 8-7 and likely to miss the playoffs. Are Steichen and Ballard in any trouble, or are they going to get the benefit of the doubt because of all the injuries?
Well, I think a lot's going to have to do with this finish here, these last two games with the Jags, and then, of course, it's Houston. So there's two tremendous, games. It's not out of the question, even though the percentage is low. If we would win out and Houston would lose out, including our game, and they have to play the Chargers Saturday, it's not impossible. But regardless of that, a strong finish, I think, is really important. Jimmy Irsay, in one of his last acts before his passing, came right out and threw down the gamut and said, this is not at the standard we have to be. It's got to change. We got to get back to Colts football. And when Carly, his daughter, took over, she pretty much, reiterated all that. So, I don't know exactly how to answer that question. I think there's still, a lot to be determined in the last 2 weeks, to be honest with you. This was just crazy. I mean, they did go all in. I'll give Chris Ballard credit. For a guy who has not been real aggressive in free agency, he has done everything possible to win this year. Now, it hasn't all worked out. The two corners that we one paid for, one traded for, are unavailable. I mean, so it's been a tough sledding, losing Danny after he was playing great at midseason. But for whatever reason, the NFL is not for long, Ryan, as you know. So I think a lot's going to have to be determined in this last couple of weeks.
Rick, you mentioned a little bit ago the defensive struggles, especially as of lately, and as of late, a part of that, those two defensive backs not being there. DeForest Buckner will be back this weekend. The Jags did not face him the last time they faced off this year. But chat a little bit about the defense. What really has gone wrong? I know in pieces, pass rush and things like that. But from your perspective, what's gone wrong with that defense?
Well, it's almost unrecognizable from what Lou wanted to do going back to training camp. We had paid big money for Charvarius Ward. We had drafted a young kid out of Minnesota. We looked like we were going to be kind of a choke-off, man-to-man pressure, which was going to be vastly different from what we've been in the past. And looked pretty good. Ward got hurt, got out. We traded for Sauce with the intent of having a couple shutdown corners and getting after you. And what I've seen is, and of course, now losing Buckner was critical. Buckner is the one guy on our team who can affect you in the front seven. Now, he did play last week. He wasn't up to his standard, but that was, expected with the neck. I think he'll be much better this week when you see him. But, we've gotten very conservative last week. We're playing a lot of zone defense. People are just shredding it, throwing the football. We're down to 31st. On pass coverage, like I said, unrecognizable from what we were in the early part of the season. So, hopefully we can pull it together here for 2 weeks. But last week was just awful. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We didn't even slow the Niners down. Every time Rivers would get us close, they'd go down and score and distance the game again. So, that is the real problem at this point.
Final moments, Rick Venturi, Colts Radio. Of course, the Jaguars and the Colts Sunday at 1 o'clock. Rick, I actually think this is a tough game, a tough spot for Jacksonville. They're coming off such a huge win. They got to go back on the road. At the 6.5, I think, is way too much. If I take Jacksonville to win, I'm not taking them to cover the 6.5. I guess my one caveat to that would be this, and you tell me, you're closer, obviously, to Indianapolis and that organization than most. If Houston wins on Saturday, which would officially eliminate the Colts, would that be an air out of the balloon moment for them come Sunday at 1 o'clock?
Well, it very well could. I did my podcast today, and I always do a little segment of final instructions, of which I bring my coaching out of the hat for a few minutes and give a little motivational presentation at the end. And I talked to my partner, Matt, and I said, this is a speech I'd give on Wednesday and maybe a different one Sunday morning. No doubt about it. I do think this, Ryan. I think we have a team that has put together over the years. And if you give Chris Ballard credit at all, it's a very high character team. It really is. I'm not saying it's a great team or anything else, but it's a very high character team. I can't imagine that our defense doesn't get off the map after that embarrassment. Pro football players, I coached them for 27 years. Very seldom do you ever get somebody that played like that last week that doesn't come out on fire. Doesn't matter where the game is. Rivers is a great leader. He wants to go out on a good note. And obviously it would be more difficult to not have life. But I just feel like this team will play hard. I also said on my podcast, I agree with you. Jacksonville has just been out of sight. I mean, the last 5 weeks, 172 points to 72. They come in with a plus 12 turnover ratio, number 7 scoring, number 10 defensive points given up. I mean, this is the legit team. This is a team that has earned its record. But I also think when you haven't won, over years and years and years, that sometimes a great win, and I've been there, a great win like last Sunday, you tend to take a deep breath after that, and that's what we're hoping.
Rick, final one before we let you go, because the conversation here for 5 seasons now has been revolving around Trevor Lawrence and what tier Trevor Lawrence will be at, where he sits in quarterback rankings. This last stretch of football has been some of the best, most consistent football we've seen from Trevor Lawrence, and I think a large part of that is due to Liam Cohen and some of the things that they very early on in this offseason said they needed to address and fix, and that's mechanical and all of the other things. What have you seen from Trevor in this final stretch that you feel like it is getting better?
Well, if there was such a thing as co-coaches of the year, I would say that Leon and Anthony Campanelli basically deserve that. The job they've done to get them in that position this quick has been absolutely amazing. Trevor has been exactly like people expected him to be. Generational kid coming out of high school, generational kid, coming out of school at Clemson. But inconsistent. He's like the girl with the curl. When he was good, he was very good. When he's bad, he was very bad. This year, he's been very, very good. What I've noticed is a little bit more patience, particularly in the pre-snap, the checking, the looking it over. I see a greater poise in him. His legs are tremendous. I think the first thing you have to do is cut off his legs. He gets, the designers. They run those designers, the quarterback draw. He scored last week on one on a power. Where he's most dangerous is when you lose your rush discipline. He gets outside. He's a terrific thrower on the run. Absolutely. He hit Washington in our game, coming across, running to his left. He hit Patrick for the touchdown. I mean, I've seen it over and over again. But what I've seen is a much more patient, steady, consistent guy week after week, I think, which has allowed that talent really to flow. Plus, I never dreamed at this stage in the season, with the acquisition of Myers and getting those guys healthy, Thomas and Strange and now Washington, I never dreamed this receiver core would be nearly as potent as it is. I've always loved Etienne, but this receiver core has become pretty special.
Rick Venturi, former Colts and NFL coach, now color analyst for Colts Radio. Rick, we really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you guys too. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff, Rick. That was good. Good perspective too.
The legs. Trevor, what he's been able to do on the ground recently, I think has just been. We all kind of shouted it because you saw glimpses of it before. I feel like there were some people a little hesitant after the Azeez Al-Shaair. Okay, let's protect Trevor, but that just opens up so much for Trevor Lawrence.
And I love the fact that he's talked about this, the fact that he doesn't slide feet first anymore.
Yeah,
he dives forward, which is good because they give you that forward momentum. I've said it all week, Taylor, and I'll continue to say it for the next 30 minutes. I mean, there is a part of me that almost wants Houston to win on Saturday because I know that would be frustrating because you wouldn't win the division and you'd have to beat Tennessee. But I do think if Houston wins, that will affect Indianapolis. If Houston loses, this game's going to be tough for Jacksonville on Sunday. It's a game that I'm a little bit concerned about, to be honest.
Coming down to the wire here in the AFC South, coming down to the wire here on Helmets and Heels. We will cool down on the other side and then wrap things up and say hello to the Frangie Show. That's coming up next right here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Get the goods on Gainesville 24/7. Search 1010XL Gators on YouTube.
It's December. You need cash. You also need a new Kia Fast. At Kia on Atlantic, you can get both because it's our year-end cash bash. And during the Kia Season of New Tradition sales event, make no payments for up to 6 months. Or take advantage of 0% APR. Hurry and get to the year-end cash bash. Online at KiaOnAtlantic.com. Kia on Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection. For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
Helmets and Heels, provided by Green Law Group.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit hollispools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL, brought to you by San Jose Collision.
Coach Summerall is fully focused on the Gators now following the exit of his Tulane Green Waves college football playoff appearance. Coach Summerall continues to fill out his coaching staff as he's added former Florida Gators linebacker Bam Hardman to the coach. Coach Summerall continues to fill out his staff as he's added former Gators linebacker Bam Hardman to coach the outside linebackers. Look for the new staff to make a lot of noise when the transfer portal opens January 2nd.
If golf is your thing, you'll want to check out the 2026 Hills Pass at Hidden Hills Golf Club. Unlimited golf, including golf car, and preferred tee times for just one low price. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to purchase your Hills Pass today.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Hi, it's Frank Frangie. You hear my buddies Dan and Jeff talk about that great food at Daly's Dash all the time. Jeff loves that Duval, and Dan loves the Boss. And they're right, both are terrific. But I can tell you they have so many excellent options at Daly's Dash. Salads and flatbreads and tacos and quesadillas, you name it. And of course, those fantastic subs and sandwiches. I just had the Italian sub. It is so good. The thing is, Daly's Dash is really committed to their food and committed to making it perfect for you. Everything is fresh, made to order every time. And there's so many Daly's locations in town, no matter where you are, there's one near you. I love to pop in and grab a sub at lunch, or maybe after a round of golf, or maybe even after calling one of those Jags games. There's never a bad time to stop into Daly's Dash and grab that great food. So head there today. Take it from Dan and Jeff, or take it from me. They say it's nicer here. It really is. And the food is delicious. Head to Daly's Dash today.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and if you're still looking for the perfect Christmas gift, or you just want to treat your own truck right, head to Leonard Truck Outfitters this week. If it makes your truck look better, ride better, or work harder, Leonard's has it. And they install it all right there with the best team in town. If you're shopping for someone else or yourself, Leonard Truck Outfitters has you covered for Christmas. 2 easy locations, Landing and Beach Boulevard. Leonard Truck Outfitters, built for the way you work, play, and drive this Christmas.
Sewer backups stink, literally. Tree roots, old pipes, or major clogs can be the cause. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining inspects and clears sewer lines fast. If your sewer's backed up, make the Superior choice and learn more at SuperiorPlumbingJacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Let's cool down with a few notes from around the NFL that we could look out for this weekend. A lot of good games. We talked about the seeding. We talked about the playoff implications, all of that. Some personal things for certain players that you may want to keep a lookout for. Let's start off with Myles Garrett. He leads the league right now, 22 sacks. He's insane, Hacker. I mean, it's just what he does is incredible, and it sucks that right now it's on a team and has been on a team that just hasn't really done a whole lot.
And think about this with Myles Garrett. What do we always say? Teams that are leading probably have more of a chance to rush the passer and get sacks. Well, the Browns are
I don't think
always
they've
getting
led.
killed, right? The Browns are always losing by 14 points. Thus, teams are running the ball on them to try to run the clock out. Imagine if Myles Garrett, he was about to set the all-time sack record. I believe he's going to get it this weekend. Imagine if he was on a team that, I don't know, had a lead in the fourth quarter of some of these games. How many more sacks he might get?
Yeah, he may have almost 40, honestly. Yeah, so 22 sacks right now, ranks first in the NFL, 124 and a half sacks since entering the league in 2017. That's the second most by a player in his first 9 seasons since 1982. And so, as you mentioned, he plays Sunday against Pittsburgh. So that's an interesting one, I guess, too. But he can surpass Michael Strahan, who had 22 and a half in 2001, and then T.J. Watt, who had 22 and a half in 2021 for the most sacks in a season since 1982 when the individual sack became an official statistic. So big one to look out for there. Matthew Stafford having an incredible season too. The Rams, he leads the league right now with 40 touchdown passes, ranks first with 112.1 passer rating this season. With 3 touchdown passes and a passer rating of 110 or higher on Monday Night Football, Stafford can become the 4th quarterback in NFL history with at least 3 touchdown passes and a passer rating of 110 or higher in 4 primetime games in a single season, joining Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and Tony Romo.
And he's probably the MVP of the league. You know, people were talking about Drake May, and Drake May's been fantastic, and we know how good Josh Allen is, and I even saw some Trevor Love here in the last week or two as a dark horse late season MVP candidate. If you take the entire body of work, it would be hard not to give it to Matt Stafford at this point. He has been absolutely sensational.
And he came into you remember he had a back issue when the season was starting, and everyone was like, "Oh no, here we go! Like Matthew Stafford's back." That hasn't held him back.
He might be the MVP of the league, and they might be the 6th seed or the 7th seed in the NFC,
crazy.
which is wild.
Yeah. Seattle quarterback Sam Darnold, he helped the Seahawks clinch their first playoff berth since 2022 and has led Seattle to 12 wins this season, the most they've had since 2020. With a win on Sunday at Carolina, Darnold, who had 14 wins with Minnesota in 2024, can become the 5th quarterback all-time to record at least 13 wins in consecutive seasons and the first to do so with different teams, joining Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Brett Favre, and Peyton Manning. I don't think anybody, if you would have asked them 5 years ago, would have said that was happening with Sam Darnold.
No, he's had a total resurgence. People talk about Baker Mayfield. Well, Sam Darnold is probably the bigger story because he's had prolonged success now at different stops. And this would be like an ESPN stats and info thing. I have no idea where I would even find this. But I'm curious, the NFC West this year with San Francisco, the Rams, and the Seahawks, you got 3 teams that have 11 or more wins. They might have 12 or more, all 3 of them, when all is said and done. That couldn't have possibly happened too many times in the National Football League.
No way.
Because Seahawks are already at 12. San Francisco will likely get to 12 because they are at 11. And I would imagine the Rams would at least get to 12. 3 teams in the same division that all might end up with 12 or more wins.
Yeah, that's very hard to do. I'm trying to think last year because the Lions had 12, the Vikings had 12, but I don't remember what the Packers. They might have had like 10 or 11.
Green Bay was like the 6th seed last year, so that's a good point though. I mean, it has 3 teams have been good, but not often.
Yeah.
Right?
It's something to look out for in this Jags-Colts game this weekend when you're talking about running back Jonathan Taylor. We didn't even chat with Rick about him, but his season, you almost feel bad if he wasn't in the division. You'd probably feel a little bit more bad of what he's been able to do this season and then the way the second half of their season has gone. But he leads the NFL with 17 rushing touchdowns, and he ranks second with 8,944 scrimmage yards and 75 scrimmage touchdowns, obviously in his career since 2020. With a rushing touchdown on Sunday against Jacksonville, he had 18 rushing touchdowns in 2021, can become the 4th player in NFL history with at least 18 rushing touchdowns in multiple career seasons, joining Emmitt Smith, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Priest Holmes. He can become the 6th player in NFL history with at least 9,000 scrimmage yards and 75 scrimmage touchdowns in his first 6 seasons, joining guys like Sean Alexander and Adrian Peterson.
There's parts of me, and Jonathan Taylor has been unbelievable. He was unbelievable when they were really good.
Yeah.
He's sort of struggled a little bit as of late. There's parts of me that are very satisfied with the Colts collapse because I sat here every night on Hacker After Dark screaming into the mic that the Colts were not as good as people were making them out to be. And inevitably, I would get people online that saying, or on social media that I didn't know what I was talking about, and I was a Jaguar homer and this, that, and the other. But I can't really enjoy it because of the Daniel Jones injury. I wish they would have collapsed like I thought they were going to do with a healthy football team. So even though I expected them, because, I mean, you look at their wins, all right? They were 8-2, but their wins were like against Las Vegas, Arizona, the Titans twice, the Dolphins. I mean, they were beating up on awful football teams.
But they weren't punting, and they were scoring a lot. So they were, like, dominating in that, and I think that's what a lot of people were kind of looking at. But I agree with you. I don't know if we'll truly know, because DJ was playing well. It was against bad opponents.
Horrible opponents.
You really wanted to see him down this stretch when they were playing some of these better teams to see if he was going to be able to do it.
When you started
but they lose both their corners. They lose DeForest Buckner. You lose your starting quarterback. Your offensive line has been kind of a hot mess, which they were playing really well earlier in the season, but they've dealt with injuries. So you don't really know, I feel like.
They were 8-2. They lost to Kansas City, where Daniel Jones only led them to like 9 first downs the entire game. Then they lost to Houston, where I believe they scored 20 points or less. So they were 8-4. And by the way, Jacksonville was winning that game 14-7 when Daniel Jones got hurt. So I think even though he got hurt, the 2 previous weeks were leading you to believe that they were going to collapse regardless. But then the Jones injury threw everything into whack.
He also was playing he was already hurt.
Right.
Was what a lot
With
of people
the
were
fibula.
saying. He was limited. He wasn't practicing in full leading up to any of those few games. He had the fibula issue. So I think it's just, I don't know. We'll never know what the season would have been with a healthy Daniel Jones.
I'm fine. Right. Saying all that, I still am kind of leery about this game on Sunday. 6.5 to me is a joke. The Jaguars don't play well up in Indianapolis as is, even in good years. So how you're a 6.5 point road favorite is crazy to me. I think if Jacksonville wins, this is a fourth quarter game. This is nail biting time with 5 minutes to go.
Let's chat a little bit about that. We have one final segment on the other side, and then we'll also say hello to the Frangie Show. So let's do that coming up here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Bought for you by Greenlaw Group on 1010XL.
This is Garrett Scantlin, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for any orthopedic issue you have. I'm back to my Olympic training, and I feel great.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple of years ago, went smooth as silk, was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
We love talking sports on 1010XL, and I-9 Sports loves giving kids the perfect way to grow up playing the game. Spring and summer registration going on right now. Log on to i9sports.com to see all they've got to offer for kids ages 3 and up. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay. Sign up now for spring and summer. Great new locations added like Tocoy Creek High School and Westside Middle. Get your kids in the game with I-9 Sports. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount at i9sports.com.
Thank you for calling the Holiday Gift Hotline. Press 1 to make up for what you gave her last year. Press 2 for saying that about her mother. Press 3 for noticing the cute neighbor. For all of the above, you're better off hanging up and going straight to Beard's Diamonds.
Happy holidays from Beard's Diamonds, your destination for that perfect gift that's sure to make up for all your shortcomings this year. Show your love with a dazzling new bracelet or pendant, or eternity band, or a pair of stunning diamond earrings. Beard's Diamonds has the largest selection in Jacksonville at the guaranteed best value prices. Colored gemstone jewelry, all the latest designer fashion jewelry, and right now, during our anniversary event, you save up to 44% store-wide. And remember this, Beard's is not a big corporate chain like all the others in the town center. Beard's is a Jacksonville original, built by local people, serving local people. Come experience the magic of the season with a gift that's sure to bring a smile and a tear. Make this the best Christmas ever with help from Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, adorable mascot for Checkmate Coatings.
If you're thinking of refinishing your garage floor, there's 2 things you need to know about us. My family has been in the concrete coatings industry for more than 40 years.
And I was drawn 6 months ago by an artist in New Jersey.
Why is that even relevant?
Well, you said 40 years experience, so I had to give them something.
Over the years, we've worked closely with major manufacturers to develop a multi-layer application process that creates beautiful, durable, and long-lasting floors.
So even decades from now, your garage floor will look as gorgeous as it did the day it was installed.
Experience?
Check. Durable?
Check. Decades of experience making garage floors gorgeous? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
My name is
Winding things down here on Helmets and Heels on Christmas Eve. Hacker, thanks for joining me this week. It's been fun.
Yeah.
We don't get to chat a whole lot, so when we do, and especially when the Jags are 11-4, it's fun.
Hey, I really enjoy it. No Hacker After Dark tonight. I'll be enjoying Christmas Eve. Gonna go do a couple of things with the family, but I'll be back
Got the
at
Santa tracker up on your phone.
Forrest is all about the NORAD Santa tracker, and he was asking Alexa earlier what time Santa gets to Jacksonville, so he knows he needs to be in bed by about 9 o'clock. But the 5th quarter, Sunday, will be on 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Colts go final. Myself, the coach Gerald Ingram, and the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy, and hopefully, Taylor, we will be celebrating a Jaguar victory on Sunday evening.
Oh, yeah, and you were mentioning it a little bit right before break, but you think it will be a closer game. That line at 6.5 feels too big.
I do think it'll be a closer game. I think this is a very proud Colts team. Now, I do think as well, if the Colts have something to play for, it could be very sticky for the Jaguars. If Houston wins, officially eliminating Indianapolis, well, then it's human nature. I mean, I saw Indianapolis media today in the Colts locker room. They're talking to Phillip Rivers. They're talking to Zaire Franklin. They're not talking about the Jaguars. They're talking about the Texans-Chargers game and rooting for the Chargers. That's obviously
that keeps them alive.
Right. That's obviously top of mind inside the Colts locker room, which I kind of like. They're not asking them Jaguar questions. They're asking them questions about the game on Saturday. And if that game doesn't go Indianapolis's way, again, how much of a gut punch will that be? But I do think it is going to be a tight game. I do think Indianapolis plays hard. I just hope Jacksonville can squeak it out by a field goal or so.
Yeah, I feel like I see it being close. I see midway through the third, the Jags start pulling away, is how I feel. I just think, like, the talent right now that and the level the Jags are playing, I mean, we've talked so much about how well Trevor Lawrence is playing. The game last time, he wasn't playing nearly to the level he is right now. And I think there's so many things. There are some questions we mentioned earlier when it comes to Hainsey and McCary. They did not practice. Jordan Lewis and Newsome did not practice today. So those are some names we'll look out for. I do think that the offensive line name, specifically a Hainsey, to me does kind of, dictate with the DeForest Buckner what that may look like. But to me, I feel like it may be close for a little while, but I just can't imagine this Jags team not finding a way to pull away late. And so I just feel like it, and maybe it's some trauma for you. You mentioned that yesterday of just like, okay, well it's Jags at Colts.
They don't play well up in Indy historically. And then there's a weird stat that I saw. Teams that play Denver this year, like the next week, are horrible. Like the win-loss record is horrible for teams that the next week after they play Denver, because I guess Denver's such a tough physical football team. So again, just things like that kind of bother me a little bit when I read them, but hopefully none of that affects Jacksonville.
Yeah, because we've started checking some of those boxes of you can't win on the West Coast, you can't win here, you can't win the last year home record, all of the things that you've started kind of checking off. Maybe this will be another one. But let's say hello to Hayes Carline and the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hello, Hayes Carline. How you
Hello,
doing?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas Eve.
Yes, very exciting.
What you got going on for Christmas?
Well, I'm going to
You watching NBA
put out
or
the
NFL?
cookies and, I'm going to monitor it all night. Make sure
Wait until he shows
make
up.
sure the big guy gets there. And, in terms of, I'll watch NFL even though all the games are, not as great as probably the networks had hoped in the preseason. But, yeah, I'll watch NFL and hang out with the family. It should be a lot of fun and hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas. We've got a fun Frangie show lined up. Before we head on, we've got Pete Prisco at 5:15 talking all things NFL and Jags, and I had a chance to catch up with Parker Washington and Devin Lloyd in the locker room about an hour ago. So we'll play those interviews as well.
Love it. Both guys should be Pro Bowlers, is what I feel like, honestly.
And they made the alternate, but I
Yeah.
know it's disappointing, particularly for Devin.
Devin, yeah.
Because he's got like a first-team All-Pro resume,
Mhm.
and so hopefully he'll get those honors. But you could tell that like the team was bothered by it. Like Josh Hines-Allen was awarded the good guy this year for his cooperation with local media, and so he was awarded that, and then did his press availability. And he talked about how upset, the team was that Devin didn't get the recognition. But certainly, Parker is a returner. And, so hopefully those guys, hopefully they won't play because the Jaguars will go to the Super Bowl. But yeah, it's just another nugget of motivation that I think Liam Cohen made it pretty clear today he's going to use. So all that coming up.
I love it. I was telling Hacker on break too. PFF numbers aren't everything, but I was just curious. So I went to Parker's draft class, which by the way, Puka Nacua and Jackson Smith and Jigba were in. The 3 highest rating receivers from that class right now are those 3 guys:
How about
Parker,
that?
JSN, and Puka.
Wow, that's elite company to be in.
Definitely is.
Yeah, and he's playing great.
All right, Hayes. Well, enjoy the show and Merry Christmas.
Merry
Thank you.
Christmas.
All right, well, that does it for us. Hacker, again, thank you for joining me. It's been fun, and I know no show tonight, but 5th quarter on Sunday, hopefully celebrating another victory and talking about moving on to the playoffs and seeding, and let's continue all of that chat next week.
Yeah, hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, and I will talk to you Sunday on the 5th quarter.
Merry Christmas, everybody. For Ryan the Hacker Green, for Taylor Dahl, for the vacationing Lauren Brooks, and Tom McManus, and of course, RJ Saunders. That does it for us today. Merry Christmas, everybody. That's Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
You keep saying